was it in D.C.?
Vontae, I like that you're so like peppy and lit off the late night. That's a good vibe. I like that. What you doing on Saturday, bro?
Nothing. Probably do a little groove or not for sure yet. Don't got no plans.
I think you should just take off work Saturday night and turn up with Trey Songz and Bliss.
What? Hey, that's okay with me.
That's okay with you. I think you can get off work. Tell the Uber you'll be back after you done with Trey at Bliss.
It's Breezy from itsbreezy.com, and I'm here with none other than Little Bacon Bear from 93.9 WKYS.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm sleepy, but I'm good.
You sound like me almost every day. So
I totally have to make you stop and put the water on the floor real quick. So sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So, because they be really getting on me.
Oh,
I'm like the youngest and the newest, so they be looking for reasons to give Bacon an issue.
Oh, man. All right, so first and foremost, I guess just tell us, like, what all you do. I know a lot of people think you're only, like, a radio personality, I guess, so what all do you do?
What all do I do? I do a lot of things. I'm capable of a lot of things. Really early on, my dad always taught me that, like, multiple sources of revenue, do as many talents as possible so that you, one, don't have to outsource. Two, no one can tell you can't do it because you can do it. You know what I mean? I'd say that overall, I claim I'm a DJ, definitely an on-air personality. Do a little dabbling in modeling. I could do it all.
A little bit of a lot,
But some things I could do better than others.
Okay. Was your dad, like, into music or media at all?
Oh, yeah. My dad was a radio personality all my life kind of coming up. So, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Where are you guys from?
My parents met each other in Kansas. And my dad and my mom and my dad got divorced. So my dad moved to D.C., Maryland, DMV, and my mom lived in Kansas. So between those two.
Right. Okay, so you did a lot of back and forth.
Yeah. I went to high school here for a little bit, went back there, came back here. So
prior to, like, starting with WKYS, you were just kind of dabbing in all that.
Oh, yeah. I had just gotten out of school. Yeah, I just gotten out of school and was looking for something real to do. Not sleeping a lot at all, trying to just get it right.
Where'd you go to school at?
I went to Prince George's Community College.
Okay. So, I asked a couple people, like, what would they want to ask you? And I think I probably got this question like 6 times. Where did you get the name Little Bacon Bear?
I don't even have a good story for it. That's the worst part. And people always want to know, but I'm like, okay, the truth of the matter is when I was probably like 13 or 14, right around the time of like MySpace and Facebook, it was my Facebook name. And if you couldn't pronounce like my real name or you didn't know, you'd be like, aren't you that bacon girl off of Facebook? But the girl that gave you the name, her name is Jordan. And she called me Bacon Bear. And she was Captain Chunk. So it was Captain Chunk and Bacon Bear.
And it just stuck with you.
Then you make it your Twitter name, and then at that point you couldn't change your Twitter @ so you was just stuck with it. But then it's like, oh, aren't you that Bacon Bear girl? It's like,
that's almost exactly how I got my name too. My name has probably been a thing for me since like 6th, 7th grade, I would think.
It sticks.
So it just sticks. I feel you on that.
The names that come organically are the ones that you get stuck with.
Right. So you, I see you do the KYS Versus competition.
Yes, I do.
And I've seen something, or I've heard something similar to it, like in the past, like prior to you coming on air. But now that you do it more often, I see that it's more, I guess, more popular. It does seem more important to like our local scene. So how do you like? What made you want to bring that back?
Well, first off, when I got this job, it was Shorty the Prince had just left, and they were really, really in a tough spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's hard to find young radio personalities that are trained already. This is an industry and a space in where there kind of is no training wheels, and you have to get in. You have to get in and get going. So Shorty kind of left KYS Versus, and I know he was doing it, but I don't know how aggressive that he was doing it. So when I came in, it was like, well, that is something that I want to keep. I didn't come up with a name or anything, but I liked the concept, and I made it the bacon way. I adapted it to what would work for me, what would make sense for me.
Right.
I'd say the reception has been pretty good. I think that the most important thing about KYS Versus to me is that I don't think a lot of artists, both locally and around the world, know what it takes to get your song on the radio, to have people want to hear it. first off, to make a song that goes on the radio, to then
Right.
get it to a label or get it to a station, and then how do you get it in rotation? How do you get it in mix show?
Right.
Understanding that. But I think that the one quick solution that I could provide was that, okay, KYS Versus. What better to vote? What better way to find out if you have real fans or somebody really rocks with your song than to put it on the radio, tell people what your name is and what your song is, and give you 93 seconds of it, and you figure it out. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
Right.
If you love it, you do, you know?
Right.
So your fans call up here and help you win, and that's just kind of, it's the voice of the people.
Right. So that, I guess that kind of leads into one of my following questions. I guess too, you probably often get people who probably like complain about not having radio play. So to get your music onto regular rotation, could you explain to some of the people how that would normally work, just really briefly? I know it's a lot
I was gonna say
sometimes,
that's a really long question.
Right.
The simple answer is that you have to keep in mind that radio and all of these entities in general just kind of exist in a very cyclical way.
Right.
And then also it's all very relationship based.
Right.
From face value, I would say that songs that come from a label. So pick a song.
From a label.
Okay, let's say Cardi B. Cardi B.
That's where I was going.
She signed to Atlantic, I believe. She signed to, or
believe
maybe it's
so.
Interscope. I want to say it's Atlantic though. Okay, so she signed to that label, and her label's job and responsibility is then to make Cardi B make sense. Somebody comes from the label and brings it to you, hands it to you, and they're like, "Oh, this is what it is. This is the numbers that it's doing. This is how it's being received." And it continues on.
Right.
But in a more organic sense, for the everyday local artist or somebody who's trying to get on, the easiest way that I would say is building a buzz both locally and outside of here, because I was just telling another artist from KYS Versus, I just did another interview for an artist from here
Right.
a second ago, and one of the questions that he asked me was that, it's like, how do you get it to remain? But it's like, think about it. Okay, you have 100,000 views or listens on a particular song. 100,000, flat out. The reality is there's probably like 3.5 million people in the DMV.
Right.
Those 100,000 listens, did they come from just here? Did they come from the world?
Right.
Are they real listens? Are they real impressions? Do you have a real buzz? Because the reality is, Karen with the minivan, who's got 3 kids that she's driving home from soccer practice, or Keisha, or whoever, you know what I mean?
Right.
She is hearing this, and she's like, "What? Does this appeal to me in any way, shape, or form?"
Right.
And it has to make sense.
Right.
Building a buzz in a way that they can't deny you is really kind of your best way. I toot this horn, but I toot it quietly. Like, Crew was one of the perfect examples of something that can happen organically. I hand walked that record in here to my boss previously. I didn't even work here.
Right.
I didn't even work here, and I said, "This song is going to be a hit, and you're gonna have to trust me
I
on
said
this."
the
And
same thing when it
she
dropped,
said,
too.
"Hell no!" And this is before it even dropped. This
Oh,
is
for real?
I knew I've known GoLink for years.
Right.
But it was like, I heard the song and I said, "This is gonna be a hit." He didn't think anything of it, but they had begun getting their SoundCloud plays, and I was like, "Look, this song is gonna be a hit. You need to trust me on this. Take a chance." And she's like, "All right, we're gonna take a chance with it." And now it's double platinum. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was an organic way. I literally walked it in here. Label comes and pushes it and makes it better. And it almost didn't make it. Like, if you know anybody in radio or anybody in the industry, they would tell you, they're like, "It almost didn't make it."
Right.
It almost didn't make it. It's number wise, but now it's double platinum. It's one of the biggest accolades that we've seen, like 2018.
Right. So who all? I know you just said that you, I guess, had
Tell me if I'm too long winded, because I could go.
Oh no, you're fine, because I get the same way sometimes too. But no, sometimes I mean, I'm about to go on
Go, it's
off
okay.
topic. But no, your favorite, not favorite, but I guess who you listen to the most, like in the area.
Musically?
Yeah. What would be a Bacon Bear top 5 right now? Like, what are you gonna get in your car and drive to home?
Silence, actually.
Really?
I try to do a lot of silence. I sit in silence because I mean I'm
You
bombarded.
listen to music all day.
I listen to music all day. I'm bombarded with music all day.
Yeah.
I listen to locally. I don't know.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, a sprinkle of everything. You know what I mean? I am a person that I think people think that I listen to a whole bunch of new music
Right.
outside of like the workload and what I'm expected to just like know or
Right.
come across. I listen to probably the same 10, 15 albums that I've been listening to.
Right.
Isaiah Rashad, or I would listen to the same I don't really support Chris Brown or his music now, but I listen to his first album because
Right.
it brings back a particular time and a memory for me.
Right.
So I stay in that same realm with the
Right.
same 10,
Yep.
15 albums
Yeah.
until I find something that I was like, oh yeah, I can add this to my rotation of things that I
Right.
would continue to listen to in the future. It's the same
So
thing.
I know you host shows from time to time too. What was your, I guess since 2018 started, what has been your favorite event that you've done?
My favorite event that I've done. They're all my favorite in different ways. I would say that Echo Stage for Cutiful, Rico Nasty, and Shy Glizzy, I got added to it last minute. It was like, do you want to do it? And I was like, I don't know if I've ever DJ'd anything that sold out that big. And it was like,
Right.
well, shit, let's do it.
Right.
Let's go crazy.
It seemed like you do enjoy what you do because I was there at the Fillmore, what was it? DMV Spring Fest.
Oh, yeah,
And you
that
and
was a
Goofy
fun
seemed like you guys were really enjoying yourself. I forgot the guy's name, but y'all was running across the
Goofy's.
stage with him and everything. No, not Goofy.
Oh, the artist, the guy.
Yeah, we follow each other on Twitter. I think his name is
Ray Money.
Ray Money. Yeah.
He tagged me in it.
Yep.
You know, and
Yep.
I laughed. I laughed at it for the first time I saw the tag because it was he was like, yeah, Lil Baker Bear's rocking with me. It's mostly
That
I
was
laughing
actually my
at
clip.
you.
I seen him do it.
But my crazy part is about that. I was like, that made your performance so memorable. I
Right.
don't know what the hell you were doing. Why did you sprint and keep running to the front of the stage? I don't know.
I
But
went home and told my dad, I was like, you should have seen this guy run from this part of the stage all the way to this
and
part.
look
of the
at
stage.
how
I thought he was gonna
memorable.
jump.
I thought he was gonna jump too. I was
Right.
afraid the first time he did it. I said, oh shit, he's gonna hit the
Right. I also I remember you guys. To me, it might not be crazy to anybody else, but to me, it's crazy that Swag Surf still goes up the way it does.
It's an
y'all brought
anthem.
it back 2 times, I think, probably 3. I'm not sure.
brought it
And
twice.
y'all had fun.
you gotta have fun.
Yeah.
You definitely gotta have fun.
So it's always a good thing when you could tell
A person
when
is
you-
enjoying themselves.
right, yeah, because I've seen many events and I'm like, I will stop feeling it because it seems like they're not feeling it. You feel me?
You know, one of my biggest and most important, I feel, journeys and things that I feel tasked with long term is making it okay for people to publicly enjoy themselves. I think we have gotten lost in your Snapchats, we've gotten lost in your Instagram, we've gotten lost in the flexing, and we've gotten lost in the sections and the bottles and the snapping and all that
Right.
other dumb shit. It's but did you enjoy yourself? There's been there's been so many parties that I've DJ'd or hosted at, and people, I'm just this is the most dead, and I come out feeling like I'm a bad DJ, or I feel like I'm a bad host, but then they'll be like, yeah, you killed it. It's oh, I wouldn't know that because you didn't smile or enjoy yourself.
Right.
You only did it for what was 10 seconds on this snap. Did you enjoy yourself?
That's
actually?
the generation we're in.
And it's just
digital era.
it's a really bad habit, but I'm doing the best that I can to break that habit of people. I go out there and really am jumping and really am burning every single calorie that I possibly could have because I know what that meant to see somebody do it. You don't
Right.
see many people enjoy themselves.
Exactly. So, do you have any events or anything coming up soon?
Yeah, I DJ often. My show is on 7 p.m. to midnight, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 10 p.m. on Fridays, 6 to 10 p.m. on Saturdays. I DJ throughout the week. I do a Tuesday party with Malcolm Xavier, DJ BM, DJ Sometime, and DJ Marauder. We do, and DJ Cam. Sorry, I forgot Cam. Cam Dooley. And we do a Tuesday night party at Cloak and Dagger. It kind of has evolved.
I've been
and-
seeing that too.
It's a good time. It's definitely a perfect place, and I felt like it was the perfect space for us as DJs to come together to cultivate a party in a place where people actually enjoy themselves.
Right. I'll have to come through one of those.
It's lit. We do our Tuesday, we do a Wednesday at Heist, and then we also do a monthly at Big Chief. We actually just broke the record last week for the most liquor sales ever at Big Chief.
Okay. I've been there too, and I know I've seen about how many people can go there or fit in there, but
We reached
I was in
capacity
there and
twice
I'm
that
just like, nobody's buying alcohol because I think about the dumbest stuff like that.
No,
so
that's
I'm in
fine.
there, I'm like, nobody's buying nothing. I was in there, it was like a lit event but a dry crowd, and
That
I was
happens.
just like, sometimes you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, it's some things are out of your control. You control the controllables and worry about the other shit.
So a couple other questions I got from other people. We already went over the name and where you're from. Somebody wanted to know, what do you define as happiness?
What do I define as happiness? I feel like that's a really broad question. I don't know. I think that happiness is it's an ever changing and a temporary thing. I don't think that it takes place in a large form, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, the things that may bring you happiness, the obvious things. Oh, I get to see a puppy, or I got to see a movie or a concert, and something that I love. It's like, but happiness to me is something very small that happened to me that made me chuckle or made me laugh all day. A perfect example is yesterday. I was coming to the station. I was late for an interview with Jaden Smith, and my boss texted me. He was like, "He's here," and I'm getting my nails done. I'm like midway through. I'm like, "Shit, I gotta go, sis. I'll be right back. Hold on, I'll pay for this right now. I'll be right back." So I take off running, and I got the little flip flops on. I'm like trying to run. I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I need better traction. This is gonna help me run faster. Let me put my shoes on." So hurry up. I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna mess up my toes, but I'm gonna go." So I put my shoes on. I start running, and I fall. But I don't just like trip. I fall. Like I hit the ground.
Took a tumble,
I skid. My hands like went out like this, and I was like, "Shit." And people saw me. You know, people saw me, and I was like mad, embarrassed. But I was like, she's like, this old lady was like, "Do you need help?" I was like, "You know, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not crying. I'm not crying or anything." And you know, all I could do, obviously, I wanted to be mad.
Right.
But I mostly took it as funny, and it gave me my laugh of the day, you know?
Right.
I'm Bacon Bear, and people don't think that I shit or eat or cry or feel anything. But me, I hit the ground right there on the sidewalk.
Right.
Hard. And that made me smile. It's a
so
small
about how long have you, I remember when I seen you tweet that you had made it to the radio, but I don't remember how long ago that was. So how long have you been here with the station?
I did overnights. I think I started doing overnights in like August of last year.
Okay.
August 2018. I got this particular spot on October, I think it was 7th.
Okay. So you're few months, you're coming up on a year, huh?
My year would be in October.
In a few months. Well, with this show.
Yeah, because I mean, before that, I was board hopping. I wasn't talking, and I was doing like overnights from like midnight to 2 a.m. So I talked maybe 4 times a night.
I've always said since you started, because I've probably been listening to 93 for years.
A lifetime.
And then, came the era where a lot of people stopped listening to radio as much. And the CDs, got over the CDs, a bunch of streaming. So everybody gets in the car and the aux cord. But I've noticed with me and a lot of other people, we listen to the radio more now. Because I've noticed since you at least have came in, you bring like a fresh, more fun vibe to the radio, I guess. Because at first I was like, I had seen you online when you posted it, that you were with them. And then I was like, who is this on the radio? Then I was like, that's that same girl. And I was just, because I listen to the radio a lot more now because of you. But I've also seen you guys added a lot more people. So the fact that you guys are like, I guess, building the team up more, I think it's very important. I think it's very neat. And I feel like you guys are doing a lot more radio play for the locals. Because at one point, I remember hearing people like, go on and on about like not getting play and stuff like that. But I think you guys are doing like really good now.
You know what? Hold on.
Not to say that you guys were ever doing bad.
No, that's okay. Hold on. Sure the audio file doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. But first off, thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that my efforts don't go in vain. You know, I sometimes feel like when people like walk up, they're like, "Yeah, I heard you talking like last night." Look around. I'm in an empty room. Like,
right.
So it's still baffling to me that anyone heard my voice and heard me say anything. It's like, I didn't speak to anyone. I was talking to that window or talking to this door or talking at this computer. Like, that didn't translate the same. But I want to definitely thank you for that. With radio, in these entities know that they have to begin to adapt. Not even gonna hold you. It's not like I'm a huge radio listener. Like I just be sitting and just can't wait to.
Who's on now?
You said the Drake's coming up. Well, I have to sit here and keep listening and waiting for Drake. You know what I mean? It's like we have a lot more things at our disposal. But every day that I come in here and every day that I do a show or do it, like I said, it's breaking the monotony and making radio cool again for young people and making it a less structured version of what you're used to hearing. You know what I mean? I bring a stripper or an exotic dancer up here, or I bring a dude with a beard up here, and he might be fine, but I'm gonna call him stupid on air.
That's also what I wanted to ask you. What made you start doing the MCM and Woman Crush Wednesdays? What's made you start like bringing them up here?
Shorty did like 1 or 2 Woman Crush Wednesdays, but it was like, I feel like we got too many fine ass beards in the DMV and at my access and at my disposal to not like give that to girls. I think that I give you access to maybe the celebrity dude and the celebrity beard you might never have the chance with or hear from, and find out if he's smart or dumb or have the chance to even like ever hear him talk.
Right.
bring you that, you know what I mean? I give you that, or I find somebody, normal everyday Joe Schmo from around here. It's like, okay, you fine, you ain't rich and you're not balling, but what do you do?
Right.
And how can I give these normal everyday women or these normal everyday men, whoever it tailors to, how can I bring that to you? How can I bring that experience to you?
Yeah, because I've seen even a couple people I know come up here, and I'm like, see.
And people are like, yeah, you only bring tummy tea thoughts or dudes with just beards. It's like, nah, there's duality. There's room for all here. You know what I mean?
Because even when I don't listen to the radio, I do watch your stories some of those days. So I be seeing what be going on or who you be bringing up here. I be like, okay. Because I'll go and I'll look at some of them. And I'm like, okay, well, they do X, Y, Z, and, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one thing to be a pretty face or a fine beard. You need to have some sustenance, something to you. And that's how I think I make it a joke, but it's like, this is how you weed out really who's smart and who's dumb very quickly. If I ask you a trivia question and ask you to name 3 states and you can't do that, or you tell me that you don't wear condoms because you believe they cause cancer. Or
I've never heard that one.
No, I had a man crush tell me that. Shout out to him. I actually talk about that man crush a lot. He gave me the idea that I need to just really start putting these man crush to the test, because it's like, damn, you're dumb as hell.
But
You
one
fine,
last
but you
question
dumb.
for this is another one from social media, and it's probably a hard question because I know you've done
No hard questions.
many of them. What was your favorite interview that you've done?
Favorite interview that I have done?
See,
Yeah, that is a hard question. I like them all for different reasons. I think that the first one that jumps out to me was Big Flock.
okay. That was the one you did over the phone, right?
That was if I could have a baby that I cultivated or an idea that came to me that I wanted to come to fruition the day that I got on radio, or that I knew that I wanted to accomplish in 6 months in radio, was that. Again, if you've ever seen any of my interviews, I try not to take the traditional approach like, yeah, so tell me about the new record you're working on. Who are you dating? Who are you having sex with? What about that baby? Or any of the drama that comes up. It's like I want to, one, give an artist a fair opportunity and chance to talk to their fans in the way that they want to. B, still give the fans the content that they deserve. I'm asking the questions you want to hear within reason without being petty or nitpicky. But with Big Flock, it was, he's in jail, and I think that Big Flock, I can't tell you his entire discography. I won't say that I've listened to every song or every tape that has ever come out by him. But what he symbolized was the artist that would have been the first front runner for our changing hip hop culture here in DC. You know what I mean? Like there's always been go-go. There is a hip hop culture. We have Wale. Those things exist. Fat Trail exists. But with this new particular sound, this really angry sound, Big Flock pioneered that, I feel like, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And Big Flock going away at the time that he did was a very inconvenient time, I think, for the music industry here. I think he would have been projected to be one of the best at that point.
Right.
Or at least a front runner for it. And I was like, well, how can I bring his voice back here? With you getting locked up, and we don't know, it's going to be 2 years. We know that the way that music comes and goes and the greatness of it comes and goes. 2 years from now, we don't know what Big Flock is going to sound like. What are you doing in prison right now? What message can you pass on from the walls from there? You know what I mean? What can you do? And I think that was one of my first babies that I felt like that I needed to.
Yeah, because I seen it before you did it, and I was like, this is big. And another thing with him, I've also thought that it's really neat that his brand is still alive while he's away. That's how big of, I guess, an impact he does have within this area too.
You know, and I think that happens with a lot of artists. I mean, we just saw it with Meek Mill, but I think it's really hard to do that, especially when you only have X amount of discography, and with especially the culture of rap music in particular, like changing here in DC and it really finding its sound for the very first time. I feel like like really planting its feet. Big Flock, like you kind of have to keep the brand alive in some way, shape, or form. And luckily, he has a team of people that are around him that respect and value his work long term. And
I often say that
your team has to give a damn about you, because as soon as 6 weeks are over, people stop giving a fuck about you. They stop putting money on your books. They stop visiting you. And I mean, I think that if he could tell you himself, he would say that people have been supportive and have been helpful to him.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So that's dope. That's real dope. So I definitely appreciate you doing this interview. Do you have any last words to anybody watching?
Any last words? If you ever have any questions or you need anything, I try to make myself as available as possible. My friends and family tell me that I overextend and I do too much, but it's like there is only 24 hours in a day, but I know what it takes as the pioneer and as the youngest at the station, what I've been tasked with doing. And I know how important it is to so many people that I do this the first time, and I do it well, and I do it for girls, and I do it for young kids, and I do it for the kid that went to community college, that went to PGCC. People don't yell from the hilltops that they went to PG. Nobody wants to go to PG, you know
Right.
what I mean? But I shot that from the hilltop. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, yeah, famous Dex, Japan. It's 93.9 WKYS. DMV, call me up right quick. 202-432-WKYS. You going to see Trey Songz, Bliss Nightclub this Saturday night. You and your best friend, but in the meantime, Drake, go take care of it. Nice, but what? That curse word.
Is it hard normally trying to?
It can be. It can be. It can be hard. I think that people also think that, they're like, yeah, everything that you say is going to be perfect the first time and you're going to get it. I'm like, nah, I actually don't know what's going to roll off my tongue a lot of the time.
You know, when I was younger, I used to say, yeah, when I get older, I want to be on like the radio or something like that. But growing up, I grew up like with my family. Well, not all my family, but my dad, he has a potty mouth. I have a potty mouth. So
Yes.
then as I got
You're
older, I
fucking
was
right.
like, man, once I start a radio or whatever, that's going to be the hardest part.
It's actually a lot easier than you think because you're scared.
Right.
You're afraid you're going to do it. And
But I also figure if I could stop cursing around children, I would be fine.
Yes. Yeah, no, for sure. But my thing is always like, I'm so afraid that I'm going to do it that I don't do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Literally, you'll condition yourself. I remember when I first started doing radio, I was like, I'm going to stop cussing in general so that I can just nip it in the bud.
Right. See, I've been dumbing down my curse words too. I don't curse on social media anymore. But if you catch me in person, it's amazing.
You know, I try. I think it's a delicate balance. I think as far as like my brand is concerned, I'm still kind of making that decision for myself whether that's something I want to carry on. Because it's like,
Right.
to be for real with you, I want to say shit. I want to say damn. I
Right.
want to cuss. I want to cuss because that is the way that we converse with one another on
Right.
the day to day. That's the way that artists want to converse with you. That's real. It's real and it's authentic. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I can still. I think that there's duality and there's room for all. And I think we do our children a disservice and an injustice by letting them think that they can't curse or that cursing doesn't exist or shh, don't say that around.
Right.
It's a time and a place for everything. You know what I mean? And I sometimes curse. I be deciding where I'm gonna curse and where I'm not. Like, and if an entity or a brand did not want to like have me anymore because I curse, it's like, you gotta be progressive, bro.
Right.
You need to be progressive. Like, the reality is I can still be your cover girl and I can still be your star and I can still be all of those things and still go speak to your kids. I can go to high school. I can speak at a prom. I can read books to elementary school students, but I'm still a 23-year-old young kid,
Yeah.
young person doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well,
Doing it different.
let them know. Say one last curse word to the camera then.
You goddamn right. That's my favorite one right now. That's it. At Little Bacon Bear.
right.
Thank you, Breathe Easy. Woo.
Thank you.